Alright guys, so we need to go over a couple things. Second channel stuff. It's kind of nice being monetized over here. Don't worry, we're going through some scrap and stuff. So, we got the motor out of Bertha, as you guys saw in one of the previous videos, and a lot of people threw out their comments on what we think we're going with. And initially I didn't want to go with a 6.7, but I watched a bunch of videos. I did literally like probably a week or two worth of research, talked to a bunch of people, and pretty much the only downside with going with a 6.7 is the head gasket problems. And the reason they have head gasket problems is because of these being, there's less space in between here. So they blow head gaskets easier. But we're going to go over all the reasons why a 6.7 swap 100%, like a full 6.7, would not work in a 5.9 truck and how we're going to remedy that. So pretty much what we have here, we have a 5.9 bottom end. Now if you can see here the size of the pistons, and you can see the size of the pistons of a 6.7. Now, this is also the same piston bowl as a 03 and early 04 305 motor, and this is a 325 motor from an 04.5 to 07. So, on the outside, they are 100% the same. They are exact same block and everything. On the inside, however, this is where things get interesting, and I'll get over why it's impossible, or damn near impossible, without... Well, you can't use the factory ECU, but we'll go over that. Why we can't just throw an entire 6.7 in this motor. We have to swap parts around and this and that. So if you guys are new here, we melted a piston at 388,000 miles. This truck's been doing about 7,000 to 10,000 miles a month, cranked up to around 450 horsepower. It's made its money, and it's time to just throw a new motor in it. So initially I was just going to throw another 04.5 to 05 rotating assembly in it, thinking that I broke rings. I did not break a ring, so there's that. Let's get into it. So the first difference between a 5.9, and I'm gonna scoot my way, there's the head. Hazel, get over here. Get over here. And here's a 6.7 block. Now, with this block being apart, I can show you guys. So, if you guys notice here, see how there's some steam holes right here? These, you'll notice that the bore is a little bit bigger. So, the difference between the 5.9 and 6.7 internally, other than a couple of holes in here, so you do have to use the 6.7 head gasket, and the steam ports. So the 6.7s, they butt the cylinders up against each other. So inside here, there is no coolant flow between the cylinders. That's where the steam ports come up through the head. Now, on a 5.9, there is coolant flow between them. And actually, I always thought the 5.9s, they take more abuse than the 6.7s, I've noticed. But when you're trying to make bigger horsepower, the 6.7s are actually stronger front to back. So the 5.9s, they like to blow through. So, what you have to do is you have to take, if you're going to do this in a 5.9 truck, you have to take a 5.9 head, because 6.7 injectors will not work in this truck because of the ECU, because it takes too much to fire them and it won't work right and they're not happy. And you can't just take 5.9 injectors and put them in a 6.7 head, because they don't fit right, from what I understand. So if you guys look up underneath here, you see how there's no steam ports in between. So what you have to do is take a drill and drill out each steam port. All you do is you just drill it and it'll poke right through. That's all you got to do. Then you take the 5.9 head, you put the 6.7 head gasket down, and you plop it down and you torque it down. And that's pretty much it. That's how easy it is. Now we get into the injectors. Unfortunately, if you guys look at the injector bowl, you cannot use 6.7 injectors, as we've already stated. So we have to use the 5.9 injectors. But the problem with the 5.9 injectors from the 325 motors is the difference. So, in my understanding, and Cutter Up Rob did a really good video on this, I'm just redoing it my way, because we're physically, this is what we're doing. We are 6.7 swapping it, and I'll go over why we're doing that. So to make this possible, the 5.9 injector fires and it comes out this way. Whereas a 6.7, it fires outwards and comes inward. So if you try to use the injectors from the wrong year or wrong this and that, it's going to haze and it's going to run like shit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 5.9 injectors that I already have for this truck, 04.5 to 07, and we're going to take injector tips from 305 and put them on top. I think we're going to end up using the 305 injectors, because, I mean, they're already, I'm pretty sure they're bolt-on. I don't know about the 6.7 tips, but you at least need to use a 305 a standard output tip to get that correct. So that's what we're gonna do. And that's kind of how we get around putting a 6.7 in a 5.9 without changing the computers out and a bunch of different stuff to make it the electrical system work. This is the easiest way to do it. So I've already got 50 horsepower injectors after we get them sent out and tested. All I'm gonna do is swap the tips out for 100 horsepower, 305 tips. Actually, might even do 125 horsepower tips because I'm not sure the differences between the 305 and the 325. So yeah, we'll probably do either 100 or 125 horsepower tips on the 5.9 injectors, and then we will get the correct spray angle, and everything will be correct. From what I understand, the benefit of this is we're gonna make a shitload more torque. It's gonna be more of a durable motor. We just have to worry about if we ever have any head gasket problems, depending on what the machine shop says, we're gonna do O-rings on the head because 6.7s love blowing head gaskets. Generally, they do it with VGTs, but we also have a 63 millimeter VGT that's also going on this. So we're already keeping the VGT, and then we're gonna do compounds later. So it's gonna get pretty interesting. Now, we need to talk about the decisions that I had. So we had the decision of throwing an 04.5 block in it, but the problem is you still get the in-cylinder EGR cam. And if you guys don't know, Cummins basically made an overlap in the cams to give you kind of an EGR effect without actually having to throw an EGR valve on the truck. I bought a stage 4 cam to throw in it. Here's where I went wrong. It's too big because, I mean, technically it'll work, but you're playing with fire. So we had the decision of, do I buy different injectors and go with 6.7, or do I buy a camshaft and go back with an 04 block or 05 block because they had the stronger piston rings. But then later on I found out it really didn't matter because we didn't actually break any rings. We just melted a piston is all. It doesn't really matter. Engine still ran great. The only time that you noticed it was when it was at idle, and it did have quite a bit of blow by. Now I'm waiting until my truck that I just bought comes in. I bought a 2012 white dually, and we're gonna take the motor out of that, plop it right next to it, and just swap everything over. I am gonna be resealing the entire motor. I don't want any oil leaks, and just everything that is on this motor is going to get moved over to that motor. So the front, pretty much everything. The only, except maybe the front case, but I'm not sure 100% there. But this is how you do a complete 6.7 swap without actually losing the injectors, and you still have to reuse your head, and everything will work. They all bolt up. People have done this hundreds of times. We're actually gonna be doing it a second time with that motor over there. I have a customer coming in to do that. So we're gonna be doing 2 of these if all goes well. So let me know what you guys think. That's pretty much cat's out of the bag. And since I'm monetized over here now, I can give you guys a bunch of random bullshit videos because some of you guys like that. I am gonna be focusing this channel on just like behind the scenes stuff, gym content, car content, bike content, stuff that nobody wants to see on the main channel. I shouldn't say nobody, but less than 10% of people want to see on the main channel. I know I told you guys, this is going to take me about a month and a half project to get done between waiting on parts and waiting on machine shop and waiting on my truck. I'm not in a rush to get this thing together. The truck's still making money sitting here. I'm making money off of the content. It's not a big deal. We are going to change stuff around. I did think that we are going to take this and put it where that one is and delete the reservoir back here to kind of clean things up. Other than that, slowly going to be getting parts in. We're getting a FAS, bigger injectors, 63 mil turbo. I would like to see about 600 to 625 horsepower out of this thing. I know I stated that the transmission is the weak link. We're going to see what that transmission can physically put to the ground, and then we're going to try to just get a good 425 to 475 horsepower tune. But with a FAS and that injections in those injectors and that turbo, this setup should easily be able to do high 5s. I know we're limited on the stock CP3 to around 700 horse from what I understand, and their tuning is phenomenal. So we can definitely get away with having a stock CP3, but I'm gonna see what we can get away with that transmission before we do all this. And I know I told you guys in the past videos, why don't I just go out and buy all this stuff now? And my whole logic on this is everything is an investment. Even though this is like a fun project that I want to do, I am 100%, if not more, making my money back on this project. So you guys got to keep that in mind. I'm not just going to go drop $10,000 on a transmission because there's no return. There's no reason for me to do that. Y'all want to see carnage, and you're going to get fucking carnage. So with that being said, this is pretty much the end of the video. I'm going to give you guys a rant here we did just go over and clean up a lot of the stuff in the shop. I just got the shop vac cleaned out. That's going to trash tonight. But everything over here, pretty much, these wheels, those doors, there's a bunch of doors and shit over there. I need to get a bunch of stuff out. This is a 6.7 head. I might make a video with that. I don't know yet. This thing's warped about 30 thou, so I might make a fun little skit with that. Good transmission, good rad. And then all of this stuff over here is scrap besides this motor. So all that needs to go. I got a pile of parts over here. And I've been slowly hanging stuff on the wall that I don't need. Oh yeah, that's right. And if anybody wants this, seriously, this needs to go within the next like 2 days. No title, good frame, solid 46,000 miles, doesn't have a cab or anything, and no wheels come with it. But if somebody wants this for free, just come and get it. Because by the time I take it to scrap for the guy, it's gonna take 2.5, 3 hours out of my day. And to charge for that, he's actually going to get charged for me to scrap it, and that doesn't make sense. So if somebody wants this, come and get it, save him money, save me time. But I've gone through and I've reorganized a bunch of stuff. Actually just got done with that cart, and now I got to go buy 2 more. But all of this stuff, I've went through and reorganized stuff. So if anybody needs stuff for sale, we got injectors, we got fluid damper. We're going to be installing airbags, so none of that stuff's for sale, but 4-wheel drive dually adapters, AFE intake, those we're going to be questioning on installing. I have a brand new set of 0659 injectors. I have core injectors, and I have 08 Cummins injectors. But bunch of good stuff on the shelf. Moved everything, moved that exhaust up because I have a guy who's coming in for that. I have a full 6.7 block here that needs to go. And I've just been keeping like spare parts and whatnot just in case something happens. But this hook road bumper needs to get sold and get it out of my life because we're going with a Laramie bumper. These just need cut off, which I can do. It's not a big deal. But we have a full 6.7 block here. If any of you guys think this is savable, we have a little bit of a gouge here. There's a pretty big nick in there. If anybody thinks it's savable or even can be sleeved, I mean, come get it, make an offer on it. I just need stuff to get moved, and I don't know what it's realistically worth. We got dashes for Cummins, and yeah, so I mean, sunroof. And we can talk about this here. So this is the head that came off the truck. I'm gonna be sending this out to get machined. Once I get the block back and I know everything's good, then I'm gonna send this out. And depending on what they tell me is gonna determine on if I go with the O-ring route or I just throw it back together and get it flattened. I don't know, but I never had head gasket problems with this head, so I'm hoping it's not warped or cracked. But if you guys were interested in how the 6.7s and the 5.9s and how you can make them work, if you have a 5.9 truck and you want me to go through and do this, if you guys have motor stuff that you need done, let me know, because I mean, I like projects like this, especially when somebody's like, if you need something, we can just go and get it. A lot of customers, I mean, it's not really their fault, but people will say, oh, I can't afford it right now. All right, just took a big old phone call. So what I was saying is it's nice when people bring me projects and they don't, I mean, I understand a budget. I get that. But if we're digging into something, a lot of times, if we're waiting on parts, we're waiting on a budget. You guys can put 2 and 2 together there, but it's nice when it's like, okay, this is where we're at. I don't need to worry about the money part. Just get whatever done, and there you go. Like, if we can just, that streamlines and makes everything so easy. A lot of times, I don't call people out. I take the hit for it on YouTube. People talk the shit, but that's a lot of times while we're waiting on parts. I got a Ford up there that's been sitting up there for 4 or 5 weeks because the guy doesn't want to pay to fix it yet. Needs a turbo, and it's like, he's definitely going to be getting charged storage for it. I know that. But if you guys want one, I'm going to be doing, apparently we're going to be doing a second one. That way that gets that motor sold, and I told him if we're doing this, I'm going to cut his labor in half just to get this motor gone. I made a deal with him. And other than that, this should be all cleaned up by tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and enjoy the deadlift videos because you guys will probably get a lot more coming. And if you need shop work, feel free, cpstevemiller.com. I do quite a bit of work from other shops that have fucked stuff up. I'll see you guys.